So hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we are going to create this coming soon page. As you can see that it is a fully responsive design here, and also we have an email validation here. Whenever we will have an invalid email, it will give us a message here, please provide a valid email. Whenever we will have a valid email, as you can see we have fully validation for our email input. So in this video we are going to create this, and also it is a front-end mentor challenge, so I hope you guys will like it. So no more talk, let's dive into the video. So I'm in the front-end mentor website, as you can see, and today we are going to take this challenge, which is this coming soon page. So let's open it, and here you can download all the files. So download all the files from here and you will get this file, zip file, and let's extract this file from here and let's open it in our code editor. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. You can use any kind of code editor. So here, as you can see that in our Visual Studio Code we have all the files here, and in the design we have this desktop preview and we have this mobile preview, and also as you can see that we have a style guide which we need to follow, and in the HTML we have all the contents that we need to use. So everything is ready to go. So first of all, let's create a style.css file here, style.css, and link it with our HTML file. So here link CSS, and it will link it. So first of all, if I open our mobile design, as you can see that will be the mobile design for the coming soon page. So here, as you can see that we have a logo here in the top, and after that we have some headings and subheadings, and also we have a form here, and after that we have a image, and in the end of the footer we can see that we have some icons and copyright text. So that's a very simple layout, as you can see. So let's create it. So in our HTML we can see that we have a logo in the top. So let's create the logo first here in our body. So in the body, let's create a div with a class of container, and in the container let's have our logo, which will be an image actually. So the source will be in the image. We can see that we have a logo.svg, which is actually the logo, and we can give it an alternative tag logo, and also give it a class which is actually logo. So after that we can see that we have a heading here. So let's create this heading, so h1, and also let's give it a class of heading, and here we can cut this text from here and paste it here. So after that let's create the subheadings. So for that let's create actually paragraph and give it a class of subheading, and here we can cut this and paste it here. So after that, if I open the design, as you can see that we have a form here. So let's create this form. So after that let's create a form, and in this form what I need, actually I need only one input, which is this email input, as you can see. So for that let's create a input, and it will be a email input. And for the placeholder, let's say that the placeholder will be your email address. So that's the placeholder, and after that we will have our submit button. button type submit, and also we have a button text which is actually notify me. So that's it for the button, and that's it for our form. So after the form, as you can see, we have a image here. So let's have this image after this form. So it will be an image, and for the source in the image it is the illustration dashboard.png, and also for the alternative we can say that hero image, and also have a class of hero image. So after that, let's come here into the icon section. Actually in the footer, as you can see that we have three different icons here, and also as you can see that we have a copyright text. So for the icons we can use these resources from here, but what I will do actually, I will add those icons from iconets.com. so first of all, let me open this HTML. So as you can see that that's how it is looking right now. So let's go to iconet. So from here what I can do actually, I can directly add icon, actually embed icon. So let me show you what I mean. So here as you can see that we have so many icon, and if I click this, so here as you can see that we have some option. We can download this PNG, or we can directly embed this logo. So what I can do actually, I can come here and select the size of the logo and just copy this text and paste it in our HTML. So first of all, create a div with a class of icon, and in this div I will just paste it here, and let me see how it is looking. Not here. So if I come here, as you can see that we can see our logo. So it is very easy to use, so that's why I am using icon set. You can use any kind of resources from this style guide. So let's do it. So as you can see that we need to find all the icons from our icon set. So I already did the hard work. So let me just copy the icons tag from here and paste it here. So as you can see that what I did here actually, so as you can see here in anchor tag we just paste the image embed tag from the icon set. So this is very easy to use. So you can choose the icons from icon set and just paste it here. So if I open it now, so let me see how it is looking. So as you can see that we have three different icons here, which is not looking actually our look like this, but it is okay to use for now. So after that we need to add our this copyright text. So for that what I can do actually, I can create a paragraph and with a class of copyright, and just cut and paste this text. So that's all for our HTML. So as you can see, and now let's come to our style.css, and first of all we need to remove all the unexpected gap. So let's say that padding 0 and margin will be also 0, and box sizing will be border box. And after that, if I open our style guide, as you can see that we are using this font from Google Fonts. So let's just copy this URL and just get this font from Google Fonts. So as you can see that we need 300 and 600 and 700. So let's grab the 300 and also 600 from here, and the 700, and just come here and just copy the import tag and paste it in the top of our style.css. And also you can copy these CSS roles and apply it in the body. So as you can see that our text is now changed, and if I open, here as you can see that in the body we need to use font size about 20 pixel. So let's use it. So font size will be 20 pixel. So that's looking good. The fonts are looking quite similar. So after that, let's come to our container, and in the container let's say that min height will be 100 vh and width will be 100%, and padding will be about 30 pixel, and padding top, keep some padding top here about 100 pixel. So as you can see that we have some padding in the left and right, also in the 100%, sorry, 100 pixel in the top. So also let's say that display flex and align items center and justify content will be center. So as you can see that we are now displaying flex, but we need to change the flex direction, which will be column. So now it is in column. So perfect. After that, let's say that text align will be center and something like that. So after that, as you can see that we have some scroll bar here. So it is happening because of this image. This image is now quite big. So we can say that the image, all the image will be width of 100% and height of 100%. So as you can see that now all the image is width of 100%. So that's why we have a big logo, and also we have big this icons, because if you can see these icons are using actually the image embed tag from here. So that's why we are having this large image. So first of all, let's fix this logo here. So logo, and say that width will be about 80 pixel, yeah, and margin bottom will be about 20 pixel. So it is looking good. And after that, let's come to our heading, which is this one. So heading, and let's say that font size will be about 2 rem, and font weight will be 500, and color will be about something like, if I open, come here. So as you can see that for the color we need to use this gray color. So just get this gray color from here and paste it here. So it is now kind of gray. So after that, let's say that margin bottom will be about 20 pixel. So we have now gap here. So after that, if you can see here, we have separate style for this word soon. So for that, what I need to do actually, in our heading we need to wrap this soon word with a S pen. So create a S pen and paste this word. So for now, what I can do actually, I can grab this word with the S pen and give it a separate style. So let's say that font size will be, not font size, font weight will be 700, and we need to give it a separate color. So it will be the dark blue, and paste it here. So as you can see that we are now having this separate style for this shown word. So after that, let's come to our subheading. So font size will be about 0.95 rem, and color will be, so let's see which color it is. So it is kind of dark color, so it will be same as our previous one, dark blue. So it is looking good now, and say that margin bottom will be 30 pixel. So looking good for our mobile design. So after that, let's come to the form. And here for the form, let's say that padding will be 20 pixel and display will be flex, and align items center, and justify content will be center, and flex direction will be column. Yeah, it is looking good now as we expected here. So after that, let's say that width will be 100% and position will be relative. So after that, let's grab the email input. So we can say that form and input, the type will be email, and let's say that height will be about 50 pixel and width will be about 100%. So as you can see that we have a quite big input here, and also say that border radius will be 50 pixel, which will make round corner, and padding left about 20 pixel, and border will be 2 pixel solid, and also the color will be this, not this one, this one I believe. So let's try this one. Yeah, that's quite similar. So after that, let's say that font size will be 1 rem and color will be black, and outline, there will be no outline. So it is looking good. Also let's style the placeholder for this email. So we can just copy the selector from here and paste it here and say that, sorry, placeholder, and here let's say that the color will be, if I come here, the color is the grayish color, which is actually this one. Yeah, this one. And font family will be the same as we used here. So looking good as you can see here. So after that, let's style this submit button. So we can say that form input and the type will be submit, and for that background color will be, so as you can see that we have this bluish color here. So for that we can use this primary color and paste it here. So we can't see any background because we don't have any width of 100%, or we don't have any padding here. Sorry, that's not an input, it is a button here actually. Yeah, now as you can see that we can see our buttons, and also give it a height of 50 pixel, and also border will be none, and border radius will be 50 pixel, and margin top will be something like 20 pixel, and color will be white, and also font size will be 1 rem, and font family will be same as we used here. So looking good. I think we don't need to use font family here. It is already applied in the body. So letter spacing. So let's give it a letter spacing of 1.1 pixel and box shadow. So I already applied some box shadow and tried it before. So let's apply the final result here. So as you can see that there is a subtle box shadow here. So after that, let's say that cursor will be pointer and outline none. So it is looking perfect now, this button. So after that, let's come to the icons here. So for the icons, we can say that let's give it a margin top of something like 100 pixel, and also in the actual icon image, what I can say actually width will be about 30 pixel and margin will be 0 and 5 pixel for the left and right. So as you can see that we have these little icons in the bottom. So as you can see that we messed up here. So the container, which is this div, which should be end in the end of our whole structure. So it should be end here, and everything means this div of icons and this copyright should be under this container. So that's why we can see that now our icons are now in center, because we gave here in the container this align item center or display flex and text align center. So that's why we are now having the center icons and copyright text. So I'm sorry for that. So it is looking good now, and after that let's come to the copyright text. So dot copyright, and here let's say that font size will be about 0.8 rem and margin top will be 5 pixel and color will be, so it is something like this gray color. So looking good as you can see here. So that's what we can see for our mobile design, as you can see here. So quite similar and looking very good. And I think I missed something here. I think we should give some space in between this image and this form. So in the form, I can say that margin bottom will be 50 pixel or 30 pixel will look good. Yeah, 30 pixel is looking good. So that's what we are having now for our mobile design. So let's go to the desktop design, which is something like that. So for the desktop design, what I need to do actually, I need to create a media query. So media only screen, and min width. So the min width will be 768 pixel. And here what I will do actually, first of all, if I give it something width like that, so it is not looking good. So for that, what I need to change, first of all, we need to change this form. As you can see here, this form should look something like that. So for the form, we can say that flex direction will be row and max width will be 700 pixel and margin bottom will be about 50 pixel. So as you can see that now we are having something similar but not exactly what we need here. So let's fix it. So for that, what I need to do actually, I need to decrease the size of our this submit button. So let's grab this submit button. So button type submit, and give it a width of 40%, and margin 0, and also margin left only about 20 pixels, so that we can have some gap here, as you can see. So it is now looking quite good. So after that, let's come to our email and just copy here and say that it will be the email, and also it will be an input type, and say that the margin will be, actually margin bottom I believe will be 0, so there will be no margin bottom anymore. So that's what we need now. And the last thing what I need, actually I need to fix this image which is now quite large. So for that, let's say that hero image, and say that max width of something like 700 pixel. So looking good, 700 pixel, and say that margin 0 and auto. So now it will be remain in 700 pixel whenever we are in the desktop device, but when we are in the mobile device, as you can see that it is fully responsive. So the design is looking good. And lastly, what I need, actually I need to add the, so let me open this error handling here. So the last thing what I need, actually I need to add this error handling for this form. So let's add this. So for that, what I need, actually I need to add another file which will be the main.js. So first of all, in the HTML, let's add this script source and main.js. So here in our main.js, what I need, actually first of all, let's have a form here. So constant form. So the form will be actually this form, where it is, this one. So as you can see that in our structure we have only one form, so we can easily grab this form by saying that document dot query selector, and we can say that form. And after that, let's also get the button and say that form dot query selector, and we can just grab the button by its type. So type will be something like submit. So now we have the form and the button. So here what I need, actually whenever this form will be submitted, so we will listen for a submit event. Let's create a function. Whenever this form will be submitted, this function will run. So let's say that we will create a function which is the check email. So what we are doing here is we are handling the error, means we are doing the validation for the email field. So that's why we are giving name something like that, check email. So let's create this function where we are saying, so let's give it a console log here, this event. So if I come here and say that we have something like that, so whenever I will submit, as you can see that we can't see the console log because it is doing its default behavior, which is the loading page. So that's why we can't see the console log. So we need to prevent the default behavior. So for that we can see, so for that we can say e.prevent default, so which will prevent the default behavior of this form. So let's try it once again. So as you can see that we have this event, so as you can see that, which is the submit event, and we have all this function here. So what I need actually, first of all, I need to grab the value of this input text. So for that, what I can say that constant email. So we will grab the email or grab this value from here and store it in this variable. So how we can grab it? I can say that target e.target and query selector. I can just select the input. So what I'm doing here, I'm just selecting this email input, and from this input we will get the value. So whenever we will submit this form, what I'm doing here, we are getting the email field and get the value and store it in an email variable. So let's console log this email variable and let's see what is happening. So in our console, whenever I will have a submit here, as you can see that the value, which is this one, is now console logged, means it is working perfectly fine. So now we have an email variable which is containing the actual email from this form. So after that we need to validate this email. So for that we will use regex. So let's come here in the Google and search for regex, means regular expression email validation. And let's come here. So here I believe we will have this function, so which is an easy way to validate your email. So just paste it here. So as you can see that what is happening here, we have a function which is validate email, which will take a parameter which is email. Actually we need to put our email in this parameter. So what we can see here, we have a constant of regex. Actually that's the regex, and that's how it is actually checking the email that is a validate email or not. So if it is a validated email, it will send us or return us something. So for that, what I need to do, actually I need to call this function here. So if our validate email and pass this our email. So what I'm doing here, in our if else statement, I'm calling this validate email function and passing our email here. So whenever there is a error, so let's check the opposite one by this exclamation sign. So whenever there is an error, what I am doing here, let's say that console.log invalid, else valid. So let's come here in our console log and just give it a valid email. So let's say that we can see our email and also we can see the valid console log. So let's see a invalid one. So as you can see that it is perfectly working. It is now an invalid email. So it is working perfectly. So what I can do now, I can add class in our HTML from this if else statement. So let's say that whenever there is an error, means here what I can do, actually I can say that form dot class list dot add error, means whenever there will be an invalid email, we will have a class in our form which is error, but whenever the email is valid, we will remove the error class. That's simple. So let's come here in our form. this is the form. So let's give it a invalid one. So as you can see that we have a error class here, but whenever we will have a something like perfect email or validate email, as you can see that this error is removed from here. So perfect. Now what I can do, actually I can add some style here. So let's come here in the CSS and say that form, if our form have an error class, we will change the border color for our email. So grab the input, type email, so in this email what I will do, actually I will just change the border color and give it a red color. So if I come here, as you can see that we have what is the red color, this is the red color which we need to use here. And also say that margin bottom 30 pixel. For now we don't need margin bottom. I will show you when we will need this margin bottom. So for now just comment this. So as you can see that we have a perfect email, and if I submit nothing is happening, but whenever I will have something invalid one, the border color is now changed. But whenever I am having this something like that, as you can see that the border color is now in the default one, so it is looking good. So if I open our this image, which is the desktop error image, as you can see that we should have a text which will say please provide a valid email address whenever we will have a invalid email here. So let's get this text. So we will add this text dynamically with our JavaScript. So for that what I need to do, actually I need to come here in our main.js, and here maybe, and here what I need, actually I need to get a constant which will say that message will be, so just it will be a string, so please provide a valid email address. So this string is our message, and we need to create a paragraph for this message. So constant error, so give it a name. So error equals to document dot create element. So we will create a paragraph, actually, and in this paragraph we will also add a class. So error dot class list, not class name, class list dot add. So we will add a class which is actually error text, something like that. Yeah, and finally we need to put our message here. So error dot text content will be our message. So now we have a paragraph which will contain this message, and whenever we will have an error we will put this paragraph in our form. So here whenever we will have an error, we can say that form dot insert before. So we will insert our error paragraph before our button. Buttons means this submit button from here. And also whenever we will have a valid email, what I will do, actually I will say that form dot remove child, we will remove our error paragraph from this form whenever we will have an valid email address. So let's see what is happening here. So let's give it a invalid, invalid email. So as you can see that we have a paragraph, but whenever we will have a something like valid email, we don't have it. It is working perfectly fine. So the last thing what I need, actually I need to style this text. So for that, if I come here, form dot error input, not input, actually we can say that error text. So for the position we will use position absolute, and top will be about 70 pixel, and font size will be 0.95 rem, and also say that margin top we will have something like 10 pixel, and also color will be red color, which is this light red from here. So paste it here, and also say that font weight will be something like 500, and font style will be italic. So if I come here, it is not working. Why it is not working? Okay, it should be underscore. So now as you can see that it is working perfectly here, and as you can see we don't have enough gap here, so for that we need to use margin bottom, and now as you can see that we have now enough gap here. So .com, if I give it something a fully valid email, it will remove, but whenever I will have something like invalid email, we will have this perfect for our email validation. So as you can see here, so for our mobile it is looking perfect, but for our desktop, let's see how it is looking. So if I give it something like that, it is not looking similar for our desktop here. Yeah, so it should be in the left side. So let's come here in our media query here, and for the media query what I need, actually I need to say that form with our error text, error text, and say that left 30 pixel. So now as you can see that it is 30 pixel, maybe 35 pixel. Yeah, 35 pixel, it is looking good. So now as you can see that it is looking much better now. It is fully responsive, and as you can see that we have an issue here. So because we are now having a 30 pixel bottom margin whenever we will have an error. So for that, as you can see here, what I can do, actually whenever we will have an error, the input type submit, sorry, input type email, we will have our margin 0, not top, all the margin will be 0. We don't need any margin. So now as you can see that it is fixed, perfect. We are giving something like that, it is not an email. I give it something like that, perfect. As you can see that it is working perfectly. So it is fully responsive, and also as you can see that it have a email validation. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video. Also comment down your opinion about this video. So that's it for this video. My name is Arfan, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, Khuda Hafiz.